Joining me now is Fan Zhang. He's a Professor of Astronomy at Beijing Normal University. Thanks very much for your time there, Fan. Now, tell us more about the team on this mission and how the journey went. Was it smooth sailing?
It's really smooth sailing. So they adopted something called the fast rendezvous method, which takes them up there in 6.5 hours. So that's just a long road trip, really, compared to situation in the past where people have to spend days up there or something like 20 hours or so. This is so much more comfortable, and the docking went without a hitch. So it all went really smoothly.
And this mission is the last required to assemble the station. What are the final pieces that were being assembled, and how will it be used over the next decade for these experiments?
Right. So this station is really a national key science laboratory. So it's a science laboratory. There will be a lot of experiments going up, and then being swapped out over the next 10 years. So for this crew, their major task is to putting in the finishing touches to the structural component. The most important one, they haven't announced the schedule, but I think what will happen is they will move two sets of solar panels currently attached to the core module. That's the first module being launched. So those solar panels are currently sort of partially blocked by the new lab modules being launched later. So the astronauts will go out there with the help of the robotic arms. They'll have to move those to the very end of the new lab modules. So that's a substantial task because it's those solar panels, even folded, they're really heavy, and they have to move them across two modules. So they'll be pushing towards the limit of their spacewalk capabilities towards 8 hours out there.
The International Astronautical Federation said that the world is actually watching China's growing space capabilities. What do you think is meant by this? What is the world watching exactly?
So China is really making a lot of strides in the space capabilities, especially because it has to do a lot of things itself. And the world is watching. I think partly because China is adopting a different paradigm for international collaborations. In the past, it's usually very powerful space agencies getting together. So it's a by invitation only, very exclusive club, a clique, if you want. But China is doing it a different way. It's going through the United Nations Office of Outer Space Affairs, openly soliciting experiments to all nations, even those without the space program. So now every nation has a way to get in the door to reap benefits from space exploration. So if they're not already watching, I encourage them to start watching and start thinking what they can do collaboratively. Yeah.
Let's just speak a little bit in layman's terms for the average viewer here. What kind of experiments are we talking about? What kind of benefits does it mean, not just for China, but also for the everyday man and woman, here on Earth? What can we expect over the next decade?
Right. So if you look at the 9 international projects already awarded on the website, they're currently publicly available on the website of the UN Office of Outer Space Affairs. So, for example, one of them is a cancer research project, taking cancer cells up there into microgravity environment, expose them to solar radiation. So that helps you study how cancer grow, how they not grow, by having a comparison with a different situation. That's how fast you figure out what is important, what's not important. And if you can learn how cancers grow, obviously that's the first step towards preventing it from growing. So that's towards a cure for cancer. So that obviously would benefit a lot of people. Other things such as the development of new solar panels, so there will be one experiment of putting solar panels out there on the outside of space station to study its characteristics. So those things will obviously help with the energy transition into clean energy. So all of things. A lot of the things on that station will have very immediate effect on the quality of technology on Earth.
Really interesting to get your insight. Thank you for that, Fan Zhang for us, Professor of Astronomy at Beijing Normal University.